people were here when I went through this before, but I'll do it again. Dr. Bays is going to start with a statement. It will be brief, maybe 5 minutes or so. We'll do questions for about 10 minutes. We'd like to ask you to honor her time. She has a lot to do to rebuild a school. So with that said, Dr. Bays.
Thank you, Ms. Kathy. Do I need to spell my name? I did that yesterday.
All that good stuff, in case it's pronounced in an awkward fashion. You won't yell at us later.
I don't yell, but Sherry Bays, and it's S-H-E-R-R-I-B-A-Y-S. I wanted to share a press release on the Floresville High School Recovery Plan. As the assessments of damage to Floresville High School begin to come in, I'd like to share our recovery plan as it stands at this point. Structural engineers began assessing the campus on Saturday, October 31st. After the initial assessment, engineers determined that both buildings had sufficient damage to warrant moving all operations out of the 100, 200, 300, and 400 wings, as well as the administrative offices, library, and theater building. Repairs to the 100 and 200 wings and the administrative offices are estimated to be completed in approximately 3 weeks. There has not been a timeline determined for the completion of repairs on the 300 and 400 wings. Engineers will be back on campus on Tuesday to continue assessing damage. Until these assessments have been completed, we cannot provide an accurate timeline or cost estimate for all repairs. Currently, Floresville High School, the FISD Administration Building, and the FISD Transportation Department do not have full network capabilities, making the telephone system at those locations inoperable. The main phone number for FISD Administration is working, and calls are being routed to an alternate location and will be relayed via radio and cell phones appropriately. Crews are working diligently to repair damage to the fiber optic network, but at this time, we are unable to predict a completion date. Our most immediate concern is making sure that FHS students have a safe and appropriate place to receive instruction. Displaced classrooms will be temporarily relocated to the 800 wing, the practice gyms, the Tiger Den, and band hall. This week, the district will be moving portables into the parking lot in front of the practice gyms to house the administrative offices. This parking lot will also be used for parent and visitor parking at Floresville High School. FHS teachers will report to work on Tuesday, November 3rd, to begin planning instruction in their new spaces. After an update this morning from our catastrophe management firm, the earliest time students could return to school is Friday, November 6th, with a release time of 12:30. Floresville High School staff will share recovery plans, and students will walk through an abbreviated version of their class schedule to become familiar with the new locations. We will provide more specific details about students' return later in the week. Beginning Monday, Floresville Middle School and Floresville South Elementary bus exit will be diverted to Highway 97 due to the inoperable traffic signal on Highway 181. The FISD Police Department and local law enforcement will be utilized to direct and control traffic in those areas. It is important to FISD that accurate information is provided to our students, parents, and community. We will use the FISD website as well as social media to disseminate this information. Please use these resources when sharing information. For all other inquiries, contact Kim Cathy, the Floresville ISD Communications Specialist. I would like to thank the community of Floresville for their support during the cleanup efforts and as we move forward with recovery. The outpouring of assistance and concern has been overwhelming. FISD and FHS have many challenges in the days and months ahead, but I believe that with the continued support of our community and the dedicated leadership of our Board of Trustees and Floresville High School staff, we are prepared to meet those challenges. We would ask for your continued prayers and patience as we make important decisions for the future of our district and the committed success and the continued success of our students. Thank you.
Dr. Bays will take questions now.
Is this the first time the school suffers any damages due to a weather incident?
I been in the district for 20 years, and we've had some flooding, but nothing like this.
Has there been a preliminary assessment of damage that occurred within the schools, any objects within a property?
Well, we've had engineers, they came in on Saturday, and then we have a team of 4 that will be returning on Tuesday. And the obvious damage is in a 300 and 400 wing, and you can see from pictures that have been on TV and social media that when the tornado approached, it took out the wall of the 400 wing up top. And what we're being told is that the structure shifted, and when it did, that's what caused the wall at the other end to literally bulge out. When you walk through that building, there are still balloons hanging from Cancer Awareness Week. There are posters in the hallways. So it wasn't what we might have at first thought, some kind of suction or pressure that pushed that wall out. It was a shift in the structure.
Sure.
In the 100 and 200 wing, there is some damage on the roof and the purlins, and they've been crimped. And so that is going to be the quicker fix of the 2 major things that we know about. They'll need to pull the roof back, go in, replace the purlin, and then repair the roof. And so that is the repair that we think will last probably 2 to 3 weeks, and then hopefully we'll be able to occupy that building again.
You mentioned a moment ago a tornado. Is it proven it was a tornado now? Is it official?
I don't know that is official or not. Earlier today, our Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations walked with the National Weather Service.
So they were here.
And they were here this morning, and so we are waiting for an official ruling from them.
How many portables are you guys going to be bringing in?
We only think we're going to have to bring in 3 at this time. We've been able to repurpose other buildings in the district, for example, the practice gyms, the auditorium. We're going to bring in partitions, and we will have multiple classrooms in those areas. And so the only portables that we believe we're going to be bringing in at this point are 3 of them. They'll be in the parking lot area outside the band hall and the practice gyms, and that will be for administration, counselors, and office staff.
How has the community and you guys kind of come together and trying to get things back to normal as best as you can? Take me through that experience. It's just been great. The community has been nothing but helpful. I mean, we have had, literally we were at the high school all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and I didn't have to cook a meal. Because we had breakfast brought to us, we had lunch brought, we had dinner delivered. We have many requests from the community to come and help. Now, for the initial cleanup, because of safety concerns, we kept that isolated to staff and contractors that have been hired. But we are looking to involve the community even further in setting up in the next couple of days. In fact, if you have time when you leave, I would suggest going over and filming at the band hall, because right now we've got band students and band boosters who are cleaning and taking equipment out of a band hall so that we can create a classroom. And so it's just been an amazing outpouring from the community to show support, and it's very much appreciated.
Where a majority of that damage had occurred, would that have been a location where students and teachers would have gone in case this would have hit in the middle of the day? You know, you have a plan in place. Would this have been an area where they would have been seeking shelter?
Actually, we are very excited about our tornado drill plan, because as we go back and look at it to see where students would have been, students might have been wet. There might have been a few ceiling tiles that had dropped, but there were no collapsed walls where the students would have been seated. And so we are feeling very good about that. Thank goodness there was no one in the building at that time. But if there had been, with the exception of one class, there is a row of classrooms that if they had had enough time to evacuate, it would have been fine. They would have been sitting in an area that would have been safe. We did on the 400 wing, when you were asking earlier, we did lose 3 classrooms in that area.
What classrooms were those?
We had 2 math classrooms and 1. No, I guess they were really all three were math classrooms.
And those are gone.
They are gone. There's not anything salvageable in those 3 classrooms.
Any extensive damage in the other classrooms, even if the whole classroom itself is not lost?
No, amazingly, everything in the other classrooms seems to be intact. Now, there has been some water damage, and most of that water damage did not come from the rain, but came from the air conditioning system and where pipes have broken. So, but we were able to move 9 computer labs before we left on Friday. So we were able to salvage some equipment there.
Estimated damages? Do we know any?
We don't know any at this point. We're waiting on the engineers to finish their estimates and give us their recommendations. So I don't have any accurate information when it comes to what the cost of the damages might be. We hope to have that soon.
Again, from a logistical standpoint, tell us where the high school students will go. Everybody going back in place, where are they going?
Okay, so we are out of approximately 78 teachers, we are going to have to relocate 55 of them. And so what we're doing is we're using areas in the practice gyms. We have 2 full-size practice gyms. We'll be able to bring in partitions and be able to have some classrooms in those areas. We have an auditorium we're going to be able to use. We have a band hall that we'll be able to partition off and have some classrooms in there. We're using every available space we can to get our students back to school so that we can start focusing on instruction again.
How do you keep the staff and the students' spirits up in the middle of all this?
Well, we're staying positive for one. I will tell you that the Floresville High School, we've got great kids. I have the opportunity to interact with them on a daily basis. And also the Floresville High School staff, I was their principal for 3 years. And so they are a strong staff, a resilient staff. And of course it's hard when you come initially, as they've come and picked up some of their things. It's been emotional for some, but there's not a doubt in my mind that they're going to pull together. They're a wonderful team.
This will be the last question Dr. Bates will take.
When this is all said and done, how different is the school going to look 2 or 3 weeks from now?
2 or 3 weeks from now.
Or maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but maybe even longer.
Really, other than the addition of the portables, and from probably just the outside view of the 300 and the 400 wing, it will not look that different. We don't know how quickly they'll be able to begin the repairs on the 300 and 400 wing, or to what extent the damage is, so we have no idea how long that will take. But with the addition of 3 portables, we hope that that's it. Now we are waiting, as I said, tomorrow we'll have a team of engineers come in, and they will be clearing a few more buildings, hopefully. If not, then we might have to bring in more portables. So it's really a very fluid process at this moment. We are making decisions based on the information we have on an hour-by-hour basis. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate your time and your interest.